Hello, hello. Today we are going to look at a new IDE slash Agentic IDE, which come from Amazon. I think it came about 2 months ago, if I'm not wrong. And I downloaded it then, but since then I've not had a chance to really play around and do a deep dive. So today is my opportunity to do the deep dive, and I welcome for you to follow along. What are we going to do today? So first we'll take a look at what's happening, right? So this is Kiro. There are some sections here. I think this is your typical file explorer. This is the search functionality, source control, yada yada, run and debug. You can add more extensions, that's great. And then there is a Kiro section, and we are in the Kiro section. Now the difference between other IDs and other environments, for example, on my day-to-day I use an Emacs with an adder on the command line. There's a key difference here with Kiro. Kiro does not ask me to deep dive into the code immediately. So I really like how it starts with a screen which says let's build, and then there is a spec. So I think this is very critical. It is sometimes not easy to organize ideas, and this is a good first step. So I would like to start with some ideas. I do have a basic idea of what I've. There is a game which I want to make, and I've already opened that folder. The folder is empty. There's nothing in it. So now is the opportunity to start thinking and start making a game. The game which I want to build, rather than talk about it, I'll say let's. Okay, I want to create a wordle like game. Okay, so now the key difference is that I want to go from people or a player guessing a word to trying and guessing a sentence. But then that makes it complicated. So you go from a word to sentence. That is slightly more complicated. So I want to restrict it in a way where it makes it more simpler, easy to play, accessible to anyone who can make a sentence, and so on. So I want players to guess a word, guess a sentence. This sentence will have exactly 3 words, and each word will have exactly 3 letters. Alright, so what am I doing here is I'm trying to build a very tight constraint. So we don't want complex sentences, we don't want complex word even. So I'm going very small. I'm saying 3 word sentence and 3 letters in each word. I have a spec written, so I'm just going to refer to that. The other things are like each day a new puzzle needs to be available to play. I am going to copy the rest of the stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add more instructions. So things like there needs to be an on-screen keyboard, just like how it is popular in games of this genre. This keyboard needs to have only capital letters and no numerals, so simple keyboard. This needs to be browser based, and so on and so forth, right? So very basic instructions. I want it to be responsive, web, on mobile, and so on. So now I want to start understanding what Kiro can do for us. So I'm going to say go. Okay. So Kiro says and is going to create a spec for this wordle-like sentence guessing game. It's calling it sentence wordle. I don't like it, but it's fine. My name is Say How Now. I'll let Kiro know. Okay, so we have this is good. So we have a requirement.md, 3-word sentences with exactly, all right. So let me go and take a look into the requirement.md. So, okay. So you've got the requirement one. So these are user stories. So just like any software development cycle, you have user stories defining the functionality of the product. This is trying how many, there are like 7 functionalities, and I'm assuming it's changing what the requirement which I gave into some kind of user story, and it's calling it requirement.md. Now what I really like is that this is step by step, right? So I've done requirement.md. Now it is guiding me on to the next step, which is move to the design phase. Let's see what happens then. I'm going to click this. So where are we? It is creating design.md. Meanwhile, we can take a look at what's in the requirement.md. So the first one is, I want to guess. I want to use on-screen keyboard. So this is for building the keyboard. Visual feedback through color coding. New puzzle available each day. Mobile. Multiple guesses without limit initially. That makes sense for the start. I want the game to work reliably on web browsers. That's great. Okay, so we have a design. The design covers the architecture, key component, what are we going to use, that's great, and so on and so forth. So I will say I would want to take a look at the design. And the design is, there's a kind of a mermaid diagram. And then you have the stack, the state manager, key methods, and so on and so forth. That's great. All looking okay to me. If I was not using an AI agent, I would have fallen back to a game library, and I think that would have been my default. But now that we're not using a library, let's see how we're going to do it from scratch. It's not a complex game, so it should be all okay. Alright, so move to implementation plan. That's the next step. I will do that. I'm assuming it's going to create some kind of workflow for implementation or deep dive into implementation. I'm not sure. Let's see. I see something here. So there is a task list. So I'm assuming, so starting with requirement, we came on to the design, which is like the basis of what we're going to do, and then we have a task list. I see a task.md popping up. Yes. So let's go and take a look. Alright, so you have multiple tasks. So setting up the project structure, implementing the grid, making the keyboard, very analogous to the requirement which we have. Are there 7 tasks? No, there are more than that. So they've done a good job of probably breaking down the requirements even further. That's already pretty good in my mind. I have high hopes. Now, what do I... Yes, the tasks do look good. I want to specify the name of the game. I want to specify the name of the project. It's say how now. Okay, so something is happening. There are some edits. I can view diff. Okay. Yes. Right, are there other diffs? To design the basically some documentation. That's fine. Okay. Alright, all looks. I will say finalize task list. I don't want to go till that time. I want to go and take a look at the task, and Have they covered, for example, unit test? All right. Are there other tests? There are some error handling. There are some mobile specific optimization. All looking good. So it's now asking me to go to task.md and I need to start task, which is an interesting way of using browser as a way of integrating into the workflow. So that's sorry, using an ID as a way of integrating into the workflow. I like it. So let's try and do this. I'll start the task here and see what happens. Okay, so starting to create the code now. It will create index.html, some basic CSS, create main with module structure, and so on. And we would obviously want to start looking at this itself and see how do we have a continuous feedback, visual feedback loop of how the game is developing. Once we finish this, then I'll start. Meanwhile, I'll go and take a look at index.html. Alright, so okay, very sparse, probably just adhering to the first. There's a semantic structure, game, grid, keyboard, and UI. Is that present? Yes, I don't see. This is the help module. Okay, alright, so here's the keyboard container. There's the game grid probably. And yeah, alright, okay, let's see how it goes. We have everything probably in style.css is being created. And we'll look at script.js as well. So the specs are under, where are they? So if I see the directory structure, there is a folder called .kiro under the project folder, and then under the specs you have these kind of requirement, design, task, and so on. So there's a separation from the main code, which is good. Okay, so the first task is complete. Can I go and run it? I want to. Can I set up a simple web server and see the app? Okay, I'll say it's asking the basic Python server. I'll say run. What does it do? I'm assuming it will run this, and then at port 8000 we should be able to go and see. Okay, looks to be okay. I'll go and check. I will add the browser. All right, okay, so I think we have a basic structure up and running. Let me show it on the video. That's the game on the right corner of the screen, top corner. So yes, this is what I wanted. There are 3 words, each word having 3 letters. We ideally want a keyboard here, but maybe that's part of the next one. So let's go and click through all the tasks. Where task. Let's go for the next one. It will implement a responsive grid layout. So my task was cute. I wonder why. Okay, so it is still running the, if what happens if I say cancel? I still have this, so maybe it'll start the next one. Okay, I don't know why I had to do that, but when I ran the server, the Python command for the server, it did not give the control back. But it did run the server on a control on terminal attached to the IDE. So looks to be all okay. I will wait for this to finish. I like how it's chunking manageable changes together. So yeah, that should be easily reviewable if somebody's so inclined to do so. Meanwhile, let's see what they're trying to do. Okay, here's they're editing. Okay, done. Alright, so let me see and I'll refresh. Yeah, okay, some changes. I'm not sure. Maybe we can try whether it is responsive or not. Where are we? Okay. Nah. Is it responsive? Let me change the device. Let's say 14 Pro Max. Well, it's all right. It's not that great, but maybe it'll get better. So, and I'll probably keep this view. I'll turn this off. I'll keep this view. And okay, so yeah, not great right now, but let's see what happens. Still building. I will reject this because it's already open. And okay, it's trying to check its own work. That's pretty good. Okay, so this is nice. This is a different way of working than other agents where it is trying to check the work which it's already done. I like this approach. So, and there are changes here, so multiple changes. And now I'm going to try and see it in the browser. Nope, no changes. Let me say don't go responsive. How are you doing now? Okay. Alright, I would say it's all right for now. I won't spend a lot of time onto just looking into every aspect of it immediately. But I would say let's move forward and then we can come back to this if there's a problem. Okay. So yes, all good, and we move forward. We'll say start task. You're going to build virtual keyboard component. So what is, can I click on this and what is the editing? Okay, I can't click on this. I can't see what is it editing. This is already open, so this is fine. It's telling me everything. So if somebody is so inclined to understand really what's happening, they can look into each and every aspect. It's all inspectable, and I really like that. Inspectable, touchable, you can easily go and look at the files and so on. So yep, all good. still working. The next task is, so I am going to fast forward so that you're not looking at each and every task. But at some point in time, I'll start, we can start deep diving into the kind of code being written, etc. I'll say run. I don't know what it's going to do, but okay. Okay, so it's just opening. And what does it do with that? Okay, so that's nice. I don't know if it is it able to see the HTML file in a browser? And quick test, okay, run the quick test, I don't mind. Okay. So it's all very well explained. I really like that. So it is telling me exactly what it is doing, and that's great. So done a lot of things, and you can see all the changes if you are so inclined. For now, I am going to start the next task, but meanwhile I'll go and quickly take a look at how it is going. Okay, I can click, they're all clickable. Can I click here? Yes. I don't still see them appearing here, but I see a lot of logs, so that's great. I really like the robust way of development. I'll start the next one. So the next task is implement core game state management. This one is a tough one. I would have to read up on how to do this in order to really get something going. And here I am sitting and waiting for the code to educate me. Now I can always take the lazy approach of trusting whatever the machine is doing. And probably that is the way of the future. I've always debated in my head about how the future of software development is going to change. And it is for sure that today nobody is reading bytecode generated out of, let's say, a Java file. They're definitely not going and reading different intermediary steps from a human readable program file to a machine readable program file. I believe that in future we are going to a higher level of abstraction, and we are probably driving towards structured document driven development. So just like exactly like how we did, this is a very well structured. There are 3 documents here. All of them are very well structured, and I believe the future is writing structured requirement docs, and that is going to be the new programming paradigm. Anyway, so I still want to, I'll trust, and I will say this. I will add item. Okay. Alright, I think it's all okay. Don't need to do anything else here. It's already added a command which is a trusted command. So it will automatically run this. I will say trust this as well. And you go and I could easily say base, and probably I should. It is, so I don't really need to open the setting. It says command is added to the auto approve list. So yeah, that's fine. Great. Okay, something failed and it's trying to fix that. Oh, this is amazing. And now it auto ran, and the tests are all passing. Beautiful. It has deleted a file which is probably no longer required. Okay, so it is doing a lot of stuff. I would be lying if I said that I am I'm on top of everything it is doing. But I do believe the best way to check is whether things are working or not. So okay, so where are we with the key methods? So you can initialize game, add letter, remove letter, manage current guess input. Okay, let's see. Okay, fine. Let's assume that these tasks are done. What do I do? Build puzzle generation and management system. Yeah, that's fair. But add letter state tracking for create state value. Can I? Input handling will be implemented in later task. Okay, so it knows what letters are being pressed, but it will show things later. That's fine. I can live with that for now. And I will start the task to build puzzle generation and management system. So with this, I assume obviously there's a need for a admin section where it is on a daily basis picking up a fresh puzzle and displaying it to the user. But that's pretty much it. I hope at some point in time we'll probably read from a DB, but at this point in time, a file is perfectly fine. That's what we need. I hope that's what it does. So it is going to create a predefined list of, so it is creating the seed data for me. That's great. Implement date-based deterministic puzzle selection algorithm, add puzzle validation to ensure 3x3 word format, create get today's puzzle method with date hashing. Okay. Now it is testing its own code, which I really like. I am a little puzzled why did it delete the previous test code. So for example here it deleted the test game state.js. The games, let me clean up the test file and then could it be because obviously this is an intermediate state and we don't want to save all kinds of test, probably. Okay, so what does it want to run now? Come on, load the script st. Okay, all right, I will trust you, I think. And this time I'm just going to do this so that it's easier. So it has a browser context as well. I wonder what this means though. Anyway, so it's doing a lot of heavy lifting by itself, which is very interesting. Okay, it's going back to the requirement and trying to verify the things it has created, that do they adhere to the requirements or not, or the task at hand or not, so which is pretty good. So what it essentially is doing is that I'm assuming 4.1, 4.2 and 4.3 refers to this, and this. This is 4. And probably it's just doing that, I hope. Meanwhile, where are we? Okay, so it's now ready, integrated with the players will get a consistent, what's happening here? No? don't see. Okay, guess the 3-word, but it does not. It's not taking the input yet. Okay, let's see what happens next. Okay, so the next one is implement input handling and validation, of course, and that's why it's not taking the input. Let's see what happens with this. How long has it been? It's been 30 minutes, and I think we've come quite a long way, I would say. Yes, there is a long list of tasks which I'll need to click, but I really like the approach. I think I prefer this approach rather than any kind of one shot, or this is kind of vibe coding as well, but breaks it down, and really depends on the due diligence you want to do as a developer or as a document developer, into understanding what's going on within each task. And I think that spectrum of intervention available to you is really useful. Obviously this is a greenfield project. I'm not sure if, okay, it's trying to run, I'll say trust, and I will say this one, I trust. Okay, so it's got a problem. Let me try. Oh, it's trying to, okay, so why don't you stop? Why don't you stop the previous one if you're busy there? Can you, okay, can you stop the previous server, and that is occupying 8,000. So I'll probably need to kill it, and okay, yeah, that's the command to kill it. And okay, I will say accept command, trust command, and accept. I won't trust command and accept, but is there a, well, it's just looking up for the port and then killing that process. So I should be, it's okay. It should be okay. Okay, that's what I did. So what's your problem? Okay, this command, yes. Now what? Yes, do that. I will trust command and accept. This command, yes. Okay. Running. Now what do you want to do? Okay. Creating a simple, I love this. Love this. Creating test, which I'm assuming is also deleting at some point in time, because there's not the final state. And I think I see, so when I saw the task list, I assumed that all the testing would be done at the very end or near to the end. But this approach is quite interesting, where and absolutely recommended. Okay, so now let me stop the server and verify the implementation by checking the key functionality. Okay. No, not the base skill. Just this one. Okay. So yes, so as I said, it is writing test as we go and trying to verify all these changes. Good job. And it's creating more tests. Did it delete the previous test? So let me go to the file and look at, no, there are still some tests here, so it's not really deleting, which is okay. All right, that's good. Why is there a test puzzle.html? Okay, all right, maybe like a test environment. This is a test environment. Okay, everything is working according to this, the latest message. And we go to task.md again. What, guess the three word? Nope, 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 nope. Input handling. Okay. Still, the input handling is not there yet. Or is it? Why do I see two different? Okay, this should be the latest. Anyways, let me go back and see what. What's the next one? Create guest processing and implement letter comparison algorithm. Create visual feedback system. Update key colors based on guest. Deleting letters. I don't see letters being populated. But I will be patient and let's see what happens next. Start the next one. I can go and take a look into what's happening within index.html for. Okay, so it's relying on script.js, which is a big long file now. Oh, it's a 1200 line file. That's not great. Okay. The thing is, obviously, it is up to individuals on how they want to keep their projects and so on. As a next step of requirement, I can ask it to refactor and make sure that you have different file for different classes, following this dry principle and stuff like that. So I am not too while I am bothered, but I'm not too bothered because I do believe that I think it's okay to get to a working game first, and then if you want to think about how do you maintain, create, or increase the maintainability of the code, I think that should be okay in this new world. Yeah. Okay. All right. Trust. Okay, what's happening? Trust. Oh wow, now it's working. Okay, so yes, 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 I like it. Yes, this is what I wanted. It is getting there. Can we check mobile? Um, okay, not great, or maybe I will leave it for later. Okay, so let's go back to our do I open a new file? Go to file. Okay, command P. I want to go to task. Yes, thank you. And I want to navigate to 7 and 8. Can I somehow use a keyboard shortcut to? I'm sure I can. Okay, that clicked it. I did a right click and that clicked it. That's fine. So we are halfway through. Yes, the 16 task. We are at task number 8. I mean, it's a bit boring, to be honest. Sitting around and trusting the computer to do whatever it wants to do. I'm extrapolating now. So if we had to, as programmers, if we have to do this all day long, and I'm pretty sure we are going to, I believe the capabilities have matured quite a bit. I think we'll probably be doing other things. So you run a task, and you're probably managing another project like this, and you're turning more into a process manager rather than a developer in the traditional sense. So definitely the output is still code, but what's your personal output is that you're ensuring things are working. Is that it? Very interesting. I'll talk about it in some time. Let me think more. So there are two ways of looking at it. So one way is that it frees up your time. Oh, wait, I'll just do this and I will say trust. I did that earlier. Anyways, so you're trusting the computer a lot, which is fine. I think it's absolutely fine because at the end of the day, you are whatever code you write, it is the computer which runs it. I'm not against it at all. How is a development? Software development is a very creative task. People attracted to it are, in my mind, very creative in nature. Good problem solvers. They want to debug things which are not working, fix things which are not working, and so on. I feel like there will be some element of that still carrying through in the next era of software development. But not all element. So one of the key challenges would be how do we maintain the sense of amazement when you program and make things into the new process, or what do we introduce to the new software development process which injects it back with it. So for now, I think the sense of amazement is that a machine is writing all the code and I'm saving all the time and not money probably, but and I should have a result very soon, hopefully. Yeah, so that's not too bad, but I'm not sure if that is enough. All right, next task. Now I'm just going to go through them, tick them up. I'm now curious as to what we are going to get. Though I said it's like, script.js will be manageable chunks of work. But within, even if Kiro does a great job of making task modular and so on and so forth, even then, after a 40-45 minute session, you end up with a really large file, which is now, it was 1200 and throwing like 100 lines per 10 minutes or something of that sort. More than that, 200 lines. So I am not sure if everything is going to be reviewable all the time. So, and if you make that as the gate, then are you utilizing AI to its fullest? There are pros and cons of the approach as well. So if you're not doing anything, if you're not doing any sense checking, then you open a very large surface vector for so many things. For example, is this taking care of security? I'm not sure. Maybe I can just ask it to implement the OWASP security protocol or the guidelines and so on. Maybe that's so we are changing the software development workflow to be a more checklisty thing where you need to ensure that these things are present before this goes on to any kind of production. Okay, a lot of I'll let this go through. I'll get the bunch of things which need to be done. I am very interested in understanding what. Okay, let's see this. Okay, edge. Let me be deliberate. Her sky bit. Okay, edge is still not there. Yeah, it's not at the right place. So is it fun? I don't know. Is the game fun? I think I should. So probably my sense of amazement is now going to come from the game itself, where now I have, this is a brand new game, it was not existing 45 minutes ago, and we have a brand new game here. And let's say she can win. Ooh, that's nice. So it's not a she. Then man can. Okay, we don't have C, so that's fine. Let's say, okay, I don't know. Dan, man. Another Dan man gin. Do I want the sentence to be grammatically correct? I would love that. So we've got one word. That's great. Not too bad. Man. Okay, anyways. I don't know if the sentences are grammatically correct. So I'll say, is there a P? There's no P. So we've got, okay, so here are the clues, right? So these letters are not there. So bad man. No, there's no A there. So what could it be? So now I have been clicking through the task. We are at task number 10. 6 more to go. And I can already see kind of a game shaping up. So red met sky. Enter. So it's telling me what letters and so on. old.
I was trying to comprise a list. I was trying to comprise a list of how many can we do.
Alright, so we are on task number 11, where in the beginning, if you remember, I was talking about how it's not working very well on mobile. And this is the one, this is the place where it says that it will test and adjust layout for various mobile screen sizes. So I'm very hopeful. And I want to wait for this to finish, and so that we can, because mobile is probably going to be our biggest target audience. I want it to be perfect on mobile. Alright, so I'm quite impressed by the testing strategy. So it is going and creating very specific. I still don't understand the whole. Is it so? It's creating a verification.html. Is it just for user verification? For example, a dev verification, or what is it? But whatever it is doing, it seems like it is very thorough. It is going and doing the testing required to make it really work. And it is doing it by itself, very autonomous. It's not something which I have asked. In my prompt, there is no mention of testing at all. My initial thought was that we will start with the prompt, and then as we go along, I will start having to give inputs and so on and so forth. But no, this one is very autonomous. Probably down to the model. I do know that the Claude Sonnet 4 is very capable. Just surprised by how capable it is. Okay, so that's done. Should be. Can we go test? I don't know. Can we say refresh this, reset, and let me show me on the mobile. Okay, I don't know. Not great, but not too sure. Well, it's all right, isn't it? I'm not sure. There needs to be some more design elements at some point in time, but I can ask it to do. So this is the beauty. If you know what you need, then you can get it out of it. Okay, error handling, and then game instruction, user feedback. These are things which I've not asked it to do. So it's probably doing by itself, is because Wordle is a popular game. Everyone knows the mechanics, and yes, probably because of that. I don't know if what happened if I add a completely brand new game. Maybe then it will ask for input, or maybe it'll assume a default state, and then it is up to you to do something with it. So the good thing is, while this is running in the background, let's say a task is running in the background, I can go and do other things. So for example, there are so many things. I probably need to start thinking about how to put it on a server and so on. But also, this particular video which I'm making, this is the first time I'm making a video like this. I want to find out, are there AI tools available to automatically edit and so on and so forth, it frees me up to go and do those kind of research while it does the important part of writing the code. Um, very impressed. Now, as I look through the code, there are some elements of the code which are obviously not great. So, for example, the predefined list of valid three-word sentences are defined in the JS file, which is obviously not great because anyone should be able to inspect. Once this is up and running online, anyone will be able to inspect the JS file and very easily then get to the list of the three words, and they should be able to crack. I mean, that's not great at all. So, feel like we need to put this somewhere else. So as I look through the files, one thing which is not great is the fact that they have decided to include the database of future words or future sentences into the file itself, which is not great. Obviously, we'll need to change that, and the reason it's not great is because obviously when this is online, anybody will be able to inspect the JS and get that list, which is not great experience for anybody. So it should be, I don't know what, but should be reading from a file or something of that sort, and let's see how we can get it to do that. Also, finally, we are in the task where it is writing comprehensive unit test. There are already a bunch of tests while it was doing the writing of the app, but it is now going to add more, which is great. Keep in mind that this is something which I had not asked for, and it is great that the default behavior that it is doing this. A couple of other things which I would like to add is things like, as I said earlier, maybe a security requirement and stuff like that. So I'll see how we try and get that sorted. So this is quite interesting. So it's continuing to write test and run it against the actual game, and it is actually finding some bugs, and some tests are failing, and it's trying to. There's a success rate of 97%, and it's pretty thorough. So should handle mixed feedback correctly. This is great. My default approach would have been to use the code generated by one LLM to be tested by another LLM. But I mean, this level of due diligence is great as well if it is already doing by itself. Now, obviously, the folly here could be to assume that it is doing everything correct, and that is where we'll probably fall down, and I'm sure it is not. There will be some holes which I'll find out at some point in time. So I want to understand how can we prevent something like this from happening. So could we, once these tasks are finished, could we ask it to double check? So as part of a finishing or a productionization checklist, could we ask it to double check, run the test, maybe add another LLM in the mix, maybe add the security concerns, anything of that sort, and then we get this sorted that way. Not sure it right now, but those are the things which I have on my mind. Ooh, alright, all tests passed. I will move on to the next task. Now, this is user testing. Perform cross-browser and device testing. It is going to create test files across different environment. So I'll create comprehensive cross-browser and device testing files. Browser features. I don't understand. So what is it doing? Still creating. There's already a feeling of giving up control, right? So many files have been created without much oversight. But at least the test files are very well named, and if you want to go and look into test for a certain area, you are able to visually figure out that this is where you need to go. This is obviously not great, just a simple script.js and everything. Now it is huge. Now it is 2,600 lines, which in my opinion is quite big. So this needs to be broken down. But I'll come back to the feeling. The feeling of giving up control is real, where you're saying that, okay, you do everything for me. And now I am faced with this wall of huge bit of code not written by me, which will take, though I'm sure it is all very well written and there are a lot of documentation coming. The trouble is not the code itself. The trouble is the volume of the code in the short amount of time. I think that is the critical thing, and that is where probably the limitation of a human will meet the speed of the machine. And people, I would assume that you frequently get lazy. We will get lazy and let another set of automation take care of even reading this file and doing the right thing with the files. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we will be reading the large volume of information created, or we are geared to do that. Alright, now for the final task. It has done cross-browser and device testing, and it says the implementation ensures the say how now game works reliably across all modern browsers and devices. I don't know if I can test it. Let's see. Refresh. And not great, I would say, but maybe something else. I still don't like it. Still don't like it so much. Not sure if I'm doing something wrong. So I don't see the keyboard and so on and so forth. Anyways, let's see the last. And once that is done, I'll try and do some testing on the game itself, and we'll try and play. Alright, okay, so I have officially now run all the tasks, and there's a final flourish as well where it says that final integration report, successful checks, performance summary, final status, and it also says game is ready for production, but I don't think so. So for example, I want to ensure, now I'm thinking, what should I do? The first step is obviously I can do a manual check, so I'll do that. And I've been playing the game. I'll do a refresh, I'll do a reset, and his own red. Okay. And obviously I know the answer to this one today's, because it's today's puzzle, and I've been playing with it. Couple of things I want to be able to test it better, so maybe should I be looking at running another HTML? So I'll do test puzzle generator. No, that won't work. So I can continue testing it, but at the end of the day, we do have a working game. To be honest, from scratch and within roughly like this video is like one could be close to 1 hour, but in real time it was like a couple of hours, and we did have a working game, and it's the exact game which I had in my mind. So now there are so many things which I could do with this, but I'm happy to say that we were able to get to a game, and I really enjoyed the experience. It was not, this is not a one shot thing. I understand what it's trying to do. I don't understand the whole code yet, because obviously I've not really read through the code, but I do understand the process. There is a process to the madness, and I am here for it. I like it. So, yeah, that's it for me for now. Maybe another video and I'll do another tool, another idea. I don't know. Tell me in comments if you need something to be tested specifically or a video to be made. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I hope you did too.